Hi guys, in this video I'll be doing a walkthrough of lesson 25 of the All About Reading level 4. In this video I chose to do a walkthrough of a reading lesson since in levels 1 to 3 I showed a walkthrough of a lesson where a new phonogram was being introduced, and in the level 4 it is similar. So I wanted to show a reading lesson to show what some of the pre and post basic reading comprehension activities might look like, also some of the basic reading comprehension that they might, be introduced to as they are doing the All About Reading level 4. Alright, so similar to the levels 2 and 3, before they actually start the level, they start by first reviewing the main concepts or some of the main concepts they would have learned in the previous level. Alright, and this one does a pretty good job of that. So that's how they start off, level 4 as well. In this level, they are going to be introduced to 15 new phonograms. So by the time they are finished with this program, they would have learned 75 phonograms in all. Alright, and at the back of the book, I really like, please excuse my coffee stain at the bottom there. Anyway, I really like the appendix in this All About Reading program. It has all of the words they're learning in each level, a summary of a lot of the concepts and rules that they would have learned, just a lot of really, useful information at the back of the book. Oh, I also want to point out that later on in level 4, it includes influences some other cultures have had on the English language. All right, now I haven't gotten to that point with my two children that I'm using this level with currently, but it is in here as well. So now I am just going to do a walkthrough of the lesson. Alright, so there's a before you begin section that is really meant for you as the teacher. Alright, sometimes I might read this aloud with my kids, but of course you can do this on your own. So they're going to preview, you're going to be previewing heteronyms, which is the new reading comprehension concept that they will be learning. And they're going to be reviewing practicing meaningful expressions. Before you actually introduce the new teaching, it advised that you review phonogram cards and word cards. Alright, so you do that according however it fits you. Right, a lot of times I still do use the phonogram cards a lot. Right, I may not do it at the beginning of every lesson, but I do it often enough. When it comes to the words, at least for my kids, I'm using for the 4th and 6th grader. It's sufficient enough for us to practice fluency using the words, phrases, sentences that's included in the activity book. But please, you can follow it as it's laid out here. All right. The new teaching, so they are going to be learning about heteronyms, and they're going to be learning it, practicing with the words present and present. All right. So they're going to spell the words on the magnetic board using the tiles. And by spelling it, they're going to be able to visually see that these words, because they sound differently, their syllables are going to be broken up differently. All right. And of course, if they don't know, you will let them know that it has different meanings, right? So they're going to practice that with present and present, and then minute and minute. Then they're going to turn to page 153 in the activity book. And they are going to be practicing what they just learned by reading through some sentences with those heteronyms. Once they're fine with that, they're going to start reading the warm-up sheets where they will be going through words taught before, new words and phrases that would be necessary for them to be able to decode and understand the story in the reader. All right. So they're going to be going through words taught previously. These would be new words that they would be introduced to. If it is they are having problems with decoding these words, there is an activity here where it gives you tips, right, to help them decode those words. So you can have them practice it on the board and go through the tips in helping them breaking those words down into syllables, so that they will be able to decode them or read them as they're reading the story. Okay, so there is that. Then in this new teaching section, they are going to be doing some pre-reading comprehension activity, or a pre-reading comprehension activity, before they actually start reading the story in here. Okay, so they give them any definitions of terms that might be necessary for them to do this activity. So here they learn what a ruby is. A ruby is a precious stone. And then there are a few questions to, engage in discussion, to get them thinking about the topic that they are going to be reading, and taking into consideration the heteronyms that they just learned. All right, so now as they are reading the story, after a particular page, there are cued questions that it gives you to ask them, which would keep them engaged, not just in the story, but pointing out when they get to those new concepts, so that they are able to actually see it in context, right? Or pay attention to it in context. At the bottom, when they're finished reading through and going through all those questions and answers, they practice meaningful expressions when they're reviewing a concept that they were introduced to earlier on. And to do that, there is an activity that they can use here, like, I guess it's like comic strip, where they have to practice reading this with expression, and again, as opposed to saying it with a monotone voice. All right. Once that's finished, it always encourages you to read aloud to them, whether it's a story or a poem, and you can do that however that fits. A lot of times I will just make our nighttime reads work for that. I still read to them Monday through Thursday most weeks, and that's how I kind of fit that in. And if you still use the sticker charts, you can of course use that to mark their progress. All right, so now I'm going to do a flip through of the teacher's manual. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye.